Folks, I'm going to do 3 drawings of this skull. So I'm going to set my camera into the thing, and now I'm going to move this back. Move this up, move that back, move that up, and I'm going to use 3 different pens. Do 3 quick little drawings if I can. The first one, I will use a Eversharp Skyline pen with a fine flexible nib, and move the ink out of the way. It's very difficult, again, with the trauma that I'm dealing with, because camera's in between me and the subject. Am I going to have room for everything here? Maybe. Anyway, that's the idea. The idea is that I just thought I would try doing this, draw this thing 3 times over using 3 different pens. This one is probably the one that will have the most variety of line, and the other ones will have less variety. It'd help if I know what these things are called, these little holes in the... Do humans have these little holes? Or is this something that only whatever this thing is has? I'm drawing with hatch lines more than cross hatching, as you can see. I'm not really a cross hatcher. I used to be, but when I discovered pens that had these flexible nibs, I gave up hatching and I just pressed down more, because that did the trick. Is this a ram or a goat? Or, I guess, are they the same thing? They're the same thing, aren't they? So anyway, this pen, another thing that is bothering me is the light is reflecting off my wet ink. There's 2 different light sources here. There's a light from my yonder window breaks, and that's a coolish light coming from the outside, and then there's the warmer light from my light bulb, and that is making a different color, which I'm not really showing in the drawing I'm doing, but it does exist. If I were painting this, you would see the colors probably. So anyway, I think that's about it for this one. One down. And then we'll try with a Waterman. This is a Waterman stately pen, and has a very slight, come on, draw, has a very slight flexibility, and why is it skipping? It's not supposed to be skipping. Come on, why are you skipping? What's going on here? I may not have filled it up. I think that was the problem. It was not filled. It was just sort of tipped. God, this is annoying. The light is hitting my eyeballs just exactly in the wrong way. The reflected light on the ink. This pen is sort of, it makes me want to just never lift up the pen. It's making me sort of want to draw like this. Just keep the pen always on the page. And it just, I don't know why it's making me do that, but it is. Something very slippery and loose about this pen, which is kind of nice. This would be a good pen to do gestural figure drawings with. Gesture drawings, you know, that you have 30 seconds to draw the figure. You don't have time to lift up the pen and put it back down. You just keep the pen always on the surface of the paper. Let me try to draw that again, doing that the same way. So here it's all done with one line. My father draws like this. He doesn't draw very much anymore because it's hard for him to see, but he was always very good at never picking up the pencil or pen off the napkin. Oh, quite often would draw on napkins. We'd be at a restaurant and he'd be drawing the people behind me. I couldn't see, but I would see on the napkin that he was drawing these people. As you can see, I don't have the ability to draw like that. But anyway, this pen is one that makes me want to sort of draw that way. You know, if I was drawing a figure, it would just be really good because it's sort of, it's very slippery. It makes me want to slip and slide around. Lastly, it's a pen that is very, very fine. Let's make sure I have ink in it this time. This one is a very fine, slightly flexible nib. And this one, you can see how delicate the line is. And this one I might be tempted to draw really just lots and lots of little tiny details. So maybe I'll do that once I map the thing out here. Another thing that I'm noticing is the parallax view I have between the two eyeballs in my head. One of them sees more of this eye socket, underside of it than the other one, so I should close one of my eyes to do this part of the drawing. But anyway, so this pen makes me want to just really work on details. So I'm just going to work on this little bit right here, because there's so many fine lines I can get in this with this pen in this drawing here. When you crosshatch, or when you hatch, which is what I'm doing, hatching, do I make the hatches go around like this, or do I draw them that way? Are they going to be longitudinal or latitudinal? And that's always a decision you make. One will help emphasize the length of something, and the other one will maybe help emphasize the girth. And sometimes you end up doing both in the same thing, and if you do it well, maybe it isn't confusing, but it could become confusing. Like here, I did it here. This is all one sort of surface, but I moved from longitudinally to latitudinally, and it may end up causing the viewer to not know what they're looking at. Is this the same surface, or is this another part, or what? So if I were a thinking man, I might draw something 3 times over, to trying different ways so I can figure it out, in fact, what would be the best. But I'm not that kind of a person, I guess. So I may never know the answer. So this pen, I'm not really taking too much advantage of its flexibility, but I'll try to show it here, because it's a fine, flexible nib, but it really wants to stay fine. It sort of likes to be fine. You see I'm adding I'm applying pressure so that there's some thicker lines in the end result here. This horn is quite a bit shorter than the other one. The porous part of the horn, the bone, is there. To close my eye to see what I'm trying to draw here, because I'm getting double images. Anyway, I guess that's it. Are you seeing variety of line there? The middle pen I was using, that was the one that was sort of the least controllable for me. This one wanted me to draw sloppier. There's just something about this would be maybe better for doing certain kinds of calligraphy in my hand than for doing drawing. It's just this was not making me smile. This one was working well. I think sometimes, you know, I'll try a pen and I'll say, gee, that's really great. I wish I was drawing a tree instead of this skull. Or I was drawing a figure rather than this skull. It just, there are certain, this would have been good for doing gesture drawings, I think. This one might have been, this might have been good for drawing a house portrait, just because of its fine lines. So again, they all seem to want to do or draw or be a certain kind of a thing. So pay attention to your pens. They're telling you things. Listen carefully.